Hello, Eagle fans. This is Calvin Barnes from the NCCU Sports Network. Welcome back to Where Are They Now, where we interview former student athletes to see what they're doing post-NCCU. Joining me today from the volleyball and women's basketball program is Danielle Johnson-Webb. Danielle ended her volleyball career with 602 career blocks, which is still a school record. She also finished with 1,346 kills, which was a school record at the time. She was a key member of the two CIAA Volleyball Championship teams in 2004 and 2005, and being CIAA Player of the Year in the latter year. In basketball, she was a starting forward for the team that advanced to the NCAA Championship Sweet 16 for the first time in school history in the 2001-2002 season. These are just a few of her many accomplishments she has achieved at NCCU. Danielle, it is a pleasure for you joining me today.
I'm so excited to be here. I'm so excited. Thank you for having me.
No problem, no problem. So I see you right there. I see you got a little bit of jersey. So I mean, talk to us about, you bought out the jersey and everything. You got a couple years of eligibility left.
I wish Kyle Serba said, do you have an NCCU T-shirt? I was like, I got one better. I got the jersey. I don't know how Coach Ingrid McCree feels about that, but I got the jersey. I'm still strong. All my number twos out there.
Right. For all the deuces, I'm pretty sure Dr. Ingrid would love to see you in that jersey. She's like, oh man, it's gonna take me back.
Absolutely.
That's great. So first things first, for the people who may not know about you, just tell us a little bit about yourself.
I actually grew up in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. For my most formative years, I say. Before that, I was in Michigan. I'm currently Director of Equity and Community Engagement at Cary Academy, right around the corner. I call Durham, North Carolina home. I feel like I'm hopeful that it will always be home. And I'm just proud to be an Eagle. I have to be real honest. I'm just proud of it. I love Central, so I'm really excited to be here today.
I love that. Eagle pride amplified all day.
Yeah.
So you talked about, what you've been up to with the Cary Academy. Can you explain a little bit more about that?
So I am fortunate enough to be in charge and to work with a great team of people and really look at diversity, inclusion, and equity within our institution. I also run our Center for Community Engagement, and so I have entrepreneurship programs, experiential learning programs, service learning programs. I have a great team of people here that work with me, and I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to still be in education. I love working with young people. And to be able to do work this meaningful every day is just, it's a joy.
Talking about diversity and inclusion and stuff, with everything going on that time, how has that kind of helped you guys out in terms of, helping the kids teach and stuff and just, helping them in everyday life?
So I am fortunate to have a group of young people here and most of our young students here they're pioneers. I mean, these young people push me to be better every day. They challenge me respectfully every day. And we are at a time in our country where, it's a trifecta. We have COVID, which is a huge pandemic. We have civil unrest. Black lives are in a state of emergency right now. And we have an election upon us. So right now, a lot of my planning for our school is, how do we help these young people comport themselves well, be respectful, and just continue the learning. So I'm fortunate to be in this place right now, but I'm fortunate to be surrounded by young people that want to do the work.
So, working with the job and, like you said, teaching and just helping them out, what would you say is your favorite moment about working at Cary Academy?
I'd have to say I've had a ton of favorite moments, but when I came on my interview last year, I interviewed with a group of young people that blew me away. I will admit I was nowhere near where they are when I was in high school. I was pretty self-absorbed. There might be some Central people that say I was that way at Central too, but they really look outside of themselves. And I think it's definitely generational. I think that this generation, I really do think they're going to change the world. I know that sounds cliche, but just being able to sit there with them and see how their minds worked and what they were looking for. And the fact that I was at a school that put young people in front of an applicant and really listened to how they felt about that person. I feel like, sometimes young people aren't looked at as experts, but they are. They know what they need. They know what they want to an extent. And so I'm fortunate to be at an organization that really values that in young people. And we're not afraid of, having young students that are oftentimes way smarter than I am. So it's a joy. But I think that interview, I'll never forget that, those young people that I sat around the table with.
Great. And like you said, with that interview process and stuff, and I see again, like you have that jersey, you look like you're ready to go. So how did, playing sports at NCCU, how did that help you in terms of your job as a teacher?
First of all, I think anybody that can play at a collegiate level on a team and really be a teammate, right? That teaches you how to work in groups with people as you go on. I will say, I think, athletics taught me resilience. It taught me that it's okay to fail because you can recover. I think it's important for young people to see adults fail and recover. It's so important for them to know that you can make a mistake and move forward from that. But I think the most important for me is that being at a historically Black college for 4 of my most formative years, the confidence that I have, right, is unlike anything else. And I can't say it's HBCU versus PWI, but there is something when we spent 4 years at a university where the majority of people look like us. Like, we didn't have to protest in the communications building because we weren't being treated right. We didn't have to protest in we were loved for 4 years. I'm just so grateful to Central for the love and for the power that I feel because I got to experience 4 years there. It's the greatest time of my life, I will say.
And you talk about, the HBCU experience, and you talk about how that can really help them. Can you kind of explain a little bit more of how important it is for this next generation to do realize that, hey, these HBCUs, they're on par with some, or even better than some of these PWIs?
Absolutely. I will say, I think looking back at my time, I don't think I had a family member that went to an HBCU. And so it was a little shocking when I was like, I want to go to North Carolina Central. I think now my parents and my grandparents would say it was one of the best decisions. But I do think when you're 18, you're leaving your house. I was an only child. I always had my own room, right? I didn't really understand navigating the world, but I was able to navigate in a safe place. And I'm not saying that PWIs are not safe places. I can't speak to that because I didn't go to one. But I oftentimes look back, like what the civil unrest we're seeing right now, and you're seeing, what is it like to be a Black student at this university and a Black student at that university? We don't really have to talk about that because we were close, right? And I'm not saying everyone was friends and everybody loved each other and we didn't have drama because young people, but I felt secure, I felt loved, I felt wanted, I felt respected. There was never a time at Central where I felt less than. And so I often say to parents and to young people, I get that there are some really shiny universities, but when you look at what students coming out of HBCUs are doing, I mean, we're in some cases running the world, right? And so I really hope that young people and really parents take a hard look at HBCUs and really, I feel like my education was great, but it was everything else outside of the classroom where I felt safe and I felt loved and I felt like I could be the student body president if I wanted to. And I could, I just felt like we could be leaders in a way that I don't know if people are able to do that at PWI. Again, I didn't go to a PWI, so I can only talk about Central. But I really tell young people, I don't know if we'll ever get another time in our life where we were the majority, and we had that for 4 years.
Great. And like you said, we only attest to only our personal experience and everything. There's no shade to PWIs and all that stuff. But let's talk specifically about Central. They always say NCCU is like a family. It's built like a family. Talk about that and the whole HBCU culture at NCCU.
It's Eagle pride, right?
Amplified.
We see Eagles everywhere. I feel like I see them. Oh, I live in Durham too, but I do feel like I see Eagles everywhere. But even still, I think about the police officers that worked at Central that I still see, right? And it's love. Like, oh, Miss Johnson-Webb, we see them places. The athletic department for me, when I ended up going to North Carolina Central, my parents moved to Ohio. So they were not in Chapel Hill right around the corner. And I needed a family, right? I had Ingrid, I had Bulldog, I had Kyle. I had Sonia Laws, Miss Laws. We love you, Miss Laws. They were our family, right? My mom could pick up the phone and call Bulldog and be like, what is she doing? And they looked out for us. They cared about us. It was deeper for me. It seemed like for them, it was deeper than athletics. They did want us to win championships and they wanted us to be great athletes, but they cared about us. And I never actually felt like I was just at Central to win games. I really felt like they wanted me to win games, but also wanted me to go on and be great in life. And so to me, I feel like I could pick up the phone at any moment and call Kyle if I needed something. I could call Bulldog if I needed something. Ingrid, she, in my opinion, hung the moon in so many ways, and she has changed so many of our lives, and I can't even go into all of that, but it didn't end when we graduated, right? And I think I could say that, I mean, just last year, myself and 8 of my teammates got a house in Turks and Caicos, right? We're not all best friends, but we're family. And so we unite. I know a group of them went to Toronto last year, so we're really trying to do these trips every year when COVID goes away, but we care about each other, right? I think there's a love there to me that's really deep. And to me, it's not friendship, it's family. I think, you know, the Golden Eagles care about us. They remember when we played. We get to see them at the games. It's remarkable. And I'm sure it's because of size, right? We're a smaller university, but people care. They want to see us do well. I know that we call him Daddy Wicker, but Floyd Wicker, he wants to see us do well. He's always checking in on us. What are you doing? Are you doing good enough? Where's your Eagle license plate? Right? These people want to see us do well. I got that, but I don't have their official Daddy Wicker, but it could be coming.
That's good. That's good enough right there. That's good enough right there.
Yeah, it's just the feeling that people care and that they're cheering for you, right? Not just on the court, but they're cheering for you off of the court. And to me, it's changed my life in so many ways.
That's great. That's great. And like you said, it's all about the family. And like you said, they don't just want you to do well as an athlete. They also want you to do well as a student, which segues into my next question. A lot of people forget that student part in the student athlete, portion of, these student athletes. So what would you say is was your favorite moment at NCCU as a student?
Working with DP and the student, the campus echo. I was able to do some stories with them. I mean, I think I'm not deep into that now, but I know that is still a family. The newspaper folks are super connected. But to me, is being able to find my voice and talk about things. And it's highly regarded student newspaper too. I mean, the work that he has done there with those students, I think that would be the most memorable. Remember, I played 2 sports as well, so there's a lot to remember. But we did a lot of traveling, but I would have to say the school newspaper for me.
And like you said, you was great as students. You were doing stuff as a student regular, as well as being an athlete. And that, again, goes to my next question. What were some of the challenges you would say of being a multi-sport student athlete?
Challenges, that's a good question. I thrive in structure. So I think that I don't know how successful I would have been if I'd only played one sport, to be very honest. I think I needed that continuous rolling because we'd play volleyball in the fall, I'd move into basketball, and then we start training for volleyball, right? So I didn't have any time off. And so for me, it worked out really, really well. I don't know. I wouldn't say I had any challenges. I mean, here's the thing. I am definitely not a basketball player. I'll be very honest about that. I know that I was there to help Amber Congola during practice, make her tougher. But the basketball family, they pulled me in. I still feel part of that family. We still get together as well. So yeah, I wouldn't say that I felt that there were many challenges with that because I'm a person that thrives in structure.
Being a multi-sport student athlete, what would you say complement each other with each sport, with volleyball and basketball?
I would say it's so different, right? It was different because volleyball is different than basketball. Volleyball's not revenue, basketball is. There are a lot of differences in there. I don't know. I feel fortunate because I love basketball deeply. My dad played at Michigan State. I was never on his level. But I feel fortunate that I was able to be a part of that, right? Because there's nothing like basketball game day, in my opinion. There's just nothing like it. And though volleyball, I'm good at it. Volleyball doesn't get the people in the stands like basketball does, right? And so being a part of that and just the energy and, we're playing our rivals and I think it really bode well for me. And it also humbled me, I'll be honest, right? Because I all-star volleyball player and then I go get humbled as Amber's backing me down on the block to score. So it was very humbling, I think, as well for me as an individual.
And, you're talking about, playing basketball with one of the greats in, NCCU history in Amber. Talk about those kind of bouts of practice and how she was as a teammate.
So Amber was remarkable. You talk about humble. I have to give it to her. You would have never known that she was as good as she was because she didn't act that way. So she was a joy. I mean, she's funny as all get out. We all loved her, but just her work ethic, I thought was amazing. But she also really took me in, right? It wasn't like, you know, you're over there. She was always talking to me, always helping me out. Yeah, I mean, Amber's one of my favorite NCCU basketball players. She's not my favorite, but she's one of my favorites.
So I got to ask you then, who's your favorite then?
Zakia Van Hoos, hands down. They called her the thief. She was known at Central as Zook. She was exciting to see play. She was a person that loved practice. I don't know if many of us loved practice the way she loved practice. She loved running the Duke Trail. That's when I really saw between Zook and Amber is really when I think I learned work ethic. And I really think that helped me to help Central get to some championships. Because I saw it wasn't always game day. I mean, those two really taught me that it wasn't always game day. Like, a lot has to happen in practice for you to be great. I might have been a little like Allen Iverson in the beginning, and Coach Wicker might tell you, practice. But I really learned with the basketball players that the work happens in practice. It happens in preseason, and that really helped me be a better volleyball player.
Right, and I'm pretty sure you got Amber and them occasionally in practice. You hit them with a couple moves, got them a little bit.
If she was tough, I blocked a couple shots.
Okay.
Offensively, I didn't do much against her, but I did block a couple shots. Amber, shout out to Amber.
Hey, defense wins championships. That's all that matters. Defense wins championships. And you talked about, it carrying over the volleyball season. Like, we talked about some of your stats earlier. Again, being CIAA Player of the Year. Talk about that specific season. So you're defending champions. You're going into next year, then you end up winning it again, and you're the CIAA Player of the Year. What was your mentality, your mindset going into that year?
I feel like we just knew we were great. I feel like, the 1999 team, I got to Central in 2000, but 99 won a CIAA championship. I really have to give a shout out to them for starting the legacy. I really, truly believe at Central in terms of us being champions. And then we had a couple rough years. And we worked. Right. I mean, we saw what it was like to lose it in the championship. I mean, I remember it being devastating. But I feel like for that second championship, we were like, come and get us. We are ready. We are fully loaded. And it was an honor being a CIAA Player of the Year, a tournament MVP. It was a huge honor, but I felt less pressure that year because we had players from Brazil and we got Toya. I mean, it was just, we had this team built. Ingrid's recruiting to me I thought develop over 4 years, and we just had the players. We had the defensive players, we had the hitters, we had a great setter in Ariel. It really came together. I feel like that last year. The first one, we won it in 5 and we were nervous, but we pulled it through. But that second one, I feel like we just walked in, we held our heads higher everywhere we went. So,
you talked about, you won it in 5, it was a bit different feeling each year. What would you say is the championship that you value more? Was it the first one or was it the second one?
First one, hands down. I remember it like it was yesterday. I remember every moment of that game. I remember how the lights looked in the gym. It is ingrained in me, and we had to fight for that. When we played a great team, but we had to fight for that one. And I remember, it came down to that last play, and Ariel set me the ball, and I was like, let's go. And we did it. And I remember, for me, I remember looking over, I'm not going to get emotional. I remember looking over at the bench and seeing the joy of Coach Wicker, right? This was a woman who drove us to every game, oftentimes didn't have assistants that could travel. I feel like she did everything by the book, even though, right, we had little resources. She always made us feel great. But looking over and seeing the joy in her eyes, it'll be a moment I'll never forget. I think we actually have a picture of it.
And, you talked about Ariel a few times, talked about how her setting her up. That's kind of like that kind of quarterback wide receiver. You got to set each other up. So talk about that relationship with you and Ariel.
So to this day, Ariel and I are best friends. And I think if you ask Ariel, she would say she made me great. And I'm going to tell you, I made her great. So it is a constant conversation we have. And, I do think sometimes setters get a bad deal, right? They run the offense, but they're rarely players of the year, MVP, tournament MVPs. I think Ariel might still lead in assists. But she was able to execute and keep us in line. She's from Detroit. She had a little grit in her. Not too much, but, I'm thankful that we lined up. I'm thankful that we are still in touch today. And my two best friends, I would say Ariel was my setter and Dorian was my libero. Dorian came in and served for me. She played back row for me. And, the trust that we were able to build on the court, we still have it to this day.
Going again, talking about that volleyball, your amazing volleyball career. How did it feel when you set the record for career blocks for a school, and then also too, you set the record for kills at the time you ended your career? So talk about that when you realized you set those records.
That was great. That's how I felt. Coach Wicker brought in a couple of assistants. We had Douglas Hunter, we had Shannon Gamble, and that allowed us. They did a lot of technical work with us. And so, I have to thank them a lot for that. I've always been a great blocker. I was not always a great hitter, I'll be honest. And so I developed a lot of my hitting skills at Central. But I could block you I was here for it. So it's interesting, right? Like, I think in the beginning, the kills for me is a little more shocking because for me, it was about the block. And then once I realized, wait a minute, I'm leading in kills. Let me see how I can keep this going. I think it kind of progressed in that way. But for me, I'll be honest, the blocks to me aren't surprising. It was the kills that were pretty surprising. I still have my 1,000 kill volleyball in my house.
You mentioned Dr. Ingrid a few times, actually a bunch of times already this interview. So, a lot of people, they know her as the athletic director. They only know her as the AD. Can you talk to us, give us a little bit of insight on, on Coach Ingrid?
Yeah. So I still call her Coach. She's like, are you ever going to call me Ingrid? Probably not. I met Coach Wicker, Dr. Ingrid Wicker McCree. I met her father. He used to referee when I was in high school. And I will tell you the one thing, there's a lot of things. She sacrificed many years of her life for us. I can't imagine what she wasn't getting paid and all the hours that she put in with us. But the one thing I would say is that as my mother's only child, my mother felt she had no fears about dropping me off to be in Ingrid's care. And to me, that speaks volumes. She is one that we can call if we're having issues at work, if we need a recommendation, if we, we're at her house for, 4th of July. She, to me, embodies grace, wisdom. She's smart as all get out. If there was anyone that was destined to be the athletic director at North Carolina Central University, it was her. She really, to me, we look up to her. I think, I know for all of my teammates that I played with, they view her as a second mother. She cares for us and we care for her. And she, it's always powerful to watch a Black woman be so powerful, right? And to me, she does it with grace. She has empathy. And she's taught me a lot over the years, because I can't say that when I was at Central, I had a ton of empathy, right? But she really worked with me. She had to make some hard decisions with me that I think were appropriate and really helped me grow. So I am forever indebted to her. I just, we got to see her become a mother and raising this amazing volleyball player who didn't have any choice but to be amazing, because she was oftentimes in the gym and practice, So I feel like I can't put it into words how grateful I am, and I could speak for all my teammates, how grateful. We would do anything for her to this day. Anything.
And again, like I said, just working under her, I see the care, the attention to detail. We love Dr. Ingrid here, especially as the AD. So, something, you mentioned it earlier, you work with the Campus Echo. Some people may not know this, but you were actually a part of the NCCU Sports Network. So I have to ask you, what was your favorite moment being a part of the team?
So shout out to Kyle Serba for giving me a chance. Being on the sideline of a football game, and I know that there's a lot in terms of how people feel about football. There is nothing like it. There is nothing. So I did color commentating for volleyball, some for basketball, but I think I enjoyed most being on the sideline for football. And I'm grateful that Kyle gave me that opportunity and trusted me enough to kind of be live on the sports network. But, I have to say, when I think about Central, I think about Ingrid Wicker, I think about Kyle, right? And what in the early years, Kyle used to practice with us. I don't know if you know that, but Kyle is an amazing volleyball player.
Do we have any footage of this?
By the way, There might be, but I'm just telling you. Kyle would show up, and Kyle didn't take it easy on us. We were like, okay. But when I think about Kyle, when I got there, Kyle was a one-man show. And Kyle has built a program. He has built a place where people want to work. I mean, he has put us on levels that I don't know if many HBCUs, I know they have, sports information people, but Kyle has just built something to me that is professional, that we are proud of. And to me, when I think about Central, Kyle is always top of mind. So Kyle, thank you. If you need me back, call me.
we just might have to call, come and get filling for a couple things here and there with sports. We just might have to make that phone call. Kind of like a little throwback Thursday, type thing. Bring some of the four players back. We got to make it happen. So, again, working with the sports network, again, like you said, you was a multi-sport student athlete. What was the difference in working in sports versus playing it?
I think when you have been in sports at the collegiate level and then, working in sports, there's a certain level of understanding you have, right, for the athletes, like certain amount of care. And I think for coaches too, right, like being on the sideline of a football team, there's a lot that goes on the sideline. But when you're an athlete, you understand some of that is necessary, right? And so I'm just fortunate to have been a college athlete and then to be able to pop in on some weekends and nights to be a part of the amazing work you all do.
And especially at that time too, with Kyle being a one-man show, I always tell him, hey, I don't know how you did it. I appreciate you paving the way.
Yeah, I don't know how he did it either, but he did it, and he did it with pride. He's, Kyle has always been proud to be an Eagle.
Right.
And we have been fortunate to have him.
Exactly. Love having him. So, being an alum of NCC, what are some things that you miss about the Nest?
Oh, everything. Chicken Wednesday, 10:40 break. I miss everything. I often say if I could go back to college with the knowledge and the money I have now, I am ready. I am here for it. I miss everything about it. I mean, I'm at homecoming every year, and I feel like that rejuvenates me for an entire year. And I don't know if it's just because it's, our people and Eagles. But yeah, I would say Chicken Wednesday and 10:40 break. I can't say that I'm missing Bulldogs 5 a.m. workout. Shout out to Bulldogs. But I would say all those extras, and also the traveling.
Seeing the transition, we're celebrating our 10th season, officially being part of the Division I era. You were part of the CIAA, the D2 era. So seeing the transition of the department from D2 to D1, what's it been like? Just seeing it outside looking in.
Pride, right? I'm so excited that we took the step. I think, I often feel like sometimes there's HBCU shout outs and we're not in the top, and we should be. But I think it took us to a whole nother level. I think it brought accolades that we deserve, that the athletes deserve. I'm sure it was a ton of work. I'm so glad that Coach and Coach Hayes are getting together. I think that'll be great. But I'm happy. I will tell you, I was sad to leave the CIAA. I feel like that was just, there was some tradition there and it was amazing. But I'm excited we were able to join the MEAC, and it's taken us to another level. I don't think that we would be where we are now if we hadn't made that move. And so I was supportive of it. I was on the Eagle Club athletic board for a couple of years, and so I was happy to see Ingrid take us to that point.
So if there's one thing that you can tell a young student athlete at NCCU, what would it be?
After leaving Central, I coached some high-level AAU basketball players that are at many great programs across the country. And, I think this younger generation, I want them to work on resilience. I think that, sports are changing a bit just because of the dynamics of young people and parents. And I'd really encourage those students to, try to stand on your own, try to, solve problems on your own. I remember a time where, I think about my dad a lot and him being a college athlete. And if I had called my dad and been like, I'm not playing, what would have been his next move? He would have been like, have you talked to the coach? And so really giving young people those skills, practicing those skills to advocate for yourself, to me is so, so important, because you're going to have to do that in life. You know, and so I would say, you know, being okay with taking a risk, being okay failing, right? Maybe you're not starting, but what can you do to start? And to me, I think it's maybe my advice would be take a little more ownership of your path, especially at the college level. And then, you know, there's opportunities. You know, there are opportunities outside of athletics. There are academic opportunities you can take. There are former athletes that would probably love to give you an internship. You know, so just take those moments to try things, try different things outside of sports as well.
You know, you talked earlier about how, you know, you and your teammates, I used to go on trips and everything, but COVID kind of stopped that with this whole quarantine and everything. So what's one thing that you learned about yourself during this whole quarantine situation?
Patience. You know, when I think about it, I'm not always a super patient person, but I've learned that I can be. And that it's okay to give myself grace, right? This has been a hard time. I am an extrovert. I am a people person. I'm a hugger. And so being so secluded from people is hard. But also, you know, I found really creative ways. Like I tell my friends now, don't call me regularly. You need to FaceTime me. I need to see your face. So I think just I've learned to give myself a little more grace. It's okay, right? If you're not feeling up to it, it's okay if you're not okay with the state that you're in because of COVID. Yeah. And I also learned that sometimes when you buy some COVID things and gifts for yourself, it makes life better. So I made a few COVID purchases that I didn't think I would make, but I've made them.
I feel, you know, sometimes you just got to get a little pick me up, just to feel good a little bit, just a little pick me up, you know,
Yep.
just go ahead and just enjoy it. So, you know, this whole COVID and situations, what's one thing that you missed during this whole pandemic situation?
Durham. I'll be honest. You know, summer in Durham for me is a big time. We're always out. I miss, just being out in Durham, eating locally, I mean, I'm still supporting local restaurants and ordering food, but it's different than being able to go there and hang out. So to me, I miss Durham.
So, you know, when you look back at your time here at NCCU, you mentioned some names earlier, but we're going to give you the floor. Are there anybody that you would love to thank for helping you out at your time here at NCCU?
I'm sure I'm going to miss some people, but of course, Coach Wicker, Douglas Hunter, Shannon, Bulldog, Mark Deemer, Squeeze, Darkina, she's my favorite student trainer, Sonia Laws. Sonia Laws was student academic support, and she really helped me out a lot. God, there's so many. Coach Hall, Coach Jolie Robinson. I mean, the list could go on and on and on. Kyle, you know, I don't have any negative memories, essentially. I know that sounds odd, and I'm not saying that negative things didn't happen, but that's not what's in my memory. And, you know, all of those people played a part in shaping me and holding me accountable, and celebrating me. You know, and I'm grateful for them. I feel indebted to them. Angie B, who ran the register at the CAF.
Mm-hmm.
Angie B looked out. She always looked out for me. So I feel love from all of those people. I feel like they still care about me to this day. I care about them. Daddy Wicker, Coach Wicker's dad, he was the integral part for us. You know, for those of us that, you know, had dads in the home and that we were away from our dads, we felt like we had him. So, you know, as a grandparent too. So, I'm sure there are others that I'm forgetting, but I think that was probably, there's one other person, and you know what, I am blanking on his name, but he ran study hall, and my teammates will be so mad that I'm blanking on his, Coach Woodard. Coach Woodard would say, you're too late for today, too early for tomorrow, boy, and Coach Woodard kept us in line in that study hall. So, we were loved, man. We were loved, and those people surrounded me and helped me, and my parents felt okay with me being in their care. And so, I love those people. And of course, my teammates, right? I'll say again, my teammates and I, we're not best friends. All of us, there's pockets of us that are, but we are family. You know, I will say that when I came on my official visit, I got to stay with Paulette Peoples and Dekeisha Perry. And I got to play my first year with Tina and Paulette and Dekeisha. these are people that impacted me in a way. I mean, Dakisha and Paulette are the reason why I'm at Central. When I came on my official visit, I was like, that's where I'm going, Ma. I got 2 new friends. So, you know, the Brenda Browns, Patty Rodriguez, Toya Tate, Ayanna Crawford, we were my freshman roommates. So there are so many people that have left a mark on my life, so many people that I'm grateful for, so many people that I'm fortunate enough to still care about today. And I'm hopeful that they know that at any moment they need me, I'm there. And I feel like any moment that I need them, they're there. And, you know, outside of volleyball, my basketball teammates, they made me tougher. They made me stronger. Zakia Zook Van Hoos, Tiona Beatty, Amba Congola. I mean, these are people that, even though I wasn't a great basketball player, they tried to make me better. And so I'm appreciative. I'm grateful. I'm grateful to be Eagle. I'm proud to be Eagle. I feel forever indebted to Central.
You know, you talked about a little bit before, you know, we kind of recapped your time here, but what would be 3 words that best describe your time here at NCCU?
Powerful, family, and pride, I would say. I have no regrets about the choice that I made, none. I mean, it was the best choice for me. I think it could be the best choice for many young people as you're getting ready to apply to college. But yeah, I think family, pride, and it was a powerful, powerful experience. One that I'll be honest, I don't think I'll ever be able to get that again in my life, for 4 years straight, where I am in a place where I'm the majority and where the majority of people look like me. So I'm grateful.
Perfect. And the last thing before we end it off, is there anything that you want to tell to the people that you may not have said earlier today?
Eagle Pride Amplified. I think I said that. Shout out to the Golden Eagles. You know, when I was an athlete, I remember looking at the stands and they were always there in some form or fashion. I really want to give a shout out to them. And donate, give money. Homecoming's coming up. I don't know what Central's planning to do with that. I know we're not having it, but if they're offering tickets, buy tickets, right? We have to step up as former athletes, as former alums. We have to step up and pour in money. Ingrid, I'll call you this afternoon so you can get my check, my credit card number. But, you know, we can be great. And I know there's a lot of Eagles out there that are making, you know, an all right amount of money. Give what you can. We got to step up for our Eagles. And I'm hoping that even though we can't have homecoming, that we can somehow come together and create some sort of revenue for the athletic department. Because we don't want to see it fail. We want to see it keep going. And this pandemic it's powerful what it's doing to the economy, right? And so anything that you all can do, any amount of money, let's do it.
Great.
Cash at me and I can send it to Ingrid, or not Ingrid, the development office. You'll
be the middle person. You'll be the middle person if need be. Got you. Cool. Oh man, well Danielle, thank you again for your time. Thank you for joining us, telling us about your story. Keep doing the wonderful things you're doing at Cary Academy. We look forward to it, and then again, recapping your career here at NCCU. That will be it for this edition of Where Are They Now, where we take a look at former NCCU student athletes, interview them, and see what they're up to post NCCU. This is Calvin Barnes from the NCCU Sports Network. Thank you again, and remember, fans, Eagle Pride, Amplified. We'll catch you next time, y'all.